Social justice has taken a turn in a new direction with this boom of social media in the last few years. Social media has become a very powerful tool for our generation. It has enabled us to rally, fight for, and support a common cause, but while not having to leave our homes. Though this social justice movement doesn't solve all of our problems in the community and may not be as proactive as going out in the streets and chanting like they did in the 60s, it does raise awareness to problems and puts them on the pathway to being solved one step at a time. Not only has this new age of social activism been very effective in its attempts to create change in the country, but it's educated a new age of social activists while using a familiar medium, creating this new movement called the Black Lives Matter movement, which is constantly gaining ground. Through social media, we are able to see how real social injustice is in our nation. We are also able to realize that there is a problem that needs to be solved, but some seem to ignore the fact people are still being oppressed due to skin color and background. Social media has been a constant reminder to us that the nation we live in is not equal and we are still ways off from being there. It reminds us that equality is something that we must fight for. It's not something just given to us. The internet has been a game changer. Websites like Facebook and Twitter, aside from like television, have changed how fast we receive most of our news. Updates on current events going on worldwide are almost immediate, and when someone posts something, it can be seen in seconds.
So black people dying by the state is not a new thing, but the social media aspect of us having access to this information is what allowed for the movement to blow up the way it did, and for more people to say, wait, this is happening, this is a real problem, right? Like in the 90s, we know of Rodney King getting beat by the police, but because there was no social media presence, we had to rely on mainstream media.
Now for a little background, back in 2012, when George Zimmerman shot Trayvon Martin and was claimed not guilty, it sent outrage to the nation. People began protesting this injustice done by the judicial system. Though a person by the name of Alicia Garza took to Facebook in July of 2013 after the shooting of Michael Brown and created the hashtag Black Lives Matter, voicing her opinion, and it spread like wildfire. Starting with only a mere 48 shares a day or tweets a day in August 2014. But fast forward a year to May 2015, and it had over 41 million tweets. That's a stat given to us by NPR.org. According to Monica Anderson's article, the hashtag Black Lives Matter emerges social activism on Twitter, the call to justice was having a big impact and growing at a very fast pace. It was also a sign of change, showing that social media was going to be the new forward push for social activism and the way we fight for justice. Through the influence of social media, the movement has helped remove the Confederate flag from the South Carolina Capitol building, as well as force Ferguson to look into how its police force is being ran in the interest of all the shootings of the unarmed black men. This social media movement has, quoted by Bijan Stephen, author of the article Get Up, Stand Up, produced some of the most potent civil activism since the 60s. The Black Lives Matter movement has been a moral movement. This is how the media and public have generally come to understand its goals. Thousands of people across the country, or now at this point around the world, have rallied around this simple idea, and it has changed the way we use social media today. The movement has drawn public attention to issues of racism and compelled ordinary people to take action in stopping the oppression of people based on their skin color, background, etc. This historic movement calling for justice is always growing and touching more people in a never-ending attempt to stop systematic injustice.
I think that one of the challenges in the beginning, now that I look back, is that people sort of felt like this was something that would never happen to them. It would never be in their hometown. It would never, and then we saw all across the country, people realize that this was much closer to them, right? That there's a Mike Brown in every town, that Ferguson is really just one doorstep away. Those initial people in Ferguson who came out and said enough is enough and refused to go home on August 9th sort of laid the blueprint for people all across the country, and I think that that's really powerful. I do think that police violence is not the only issue of the movement, but it is a central issue, and it was the catalyst for people coming outside and staying outside.
Through social media, we have seen that our perception of race has changed over time, as well as its meaning. And as the situation changes, we adapt to the situation at hand, changing the idea of how civil activism is conducted. According to Monica Anderson's article, the hashtag Black Lives Matter emerges social activism on Twitter. Activists promoted hashtags as a way to identify their messages and display solidarity. This movement has had the power to bring people together, no matter age, race, etc., to fight for a positive cause to better our nation. Are social media movements effective? Yes, I can conclude that social media has become a very powerful tool for our generation when it comes to social justice. It's brought people together and given them a voice. Social media is something that is taken for granted and often overlooked as a productive medium for something so big and important, such as the Black Lives Matter movement. Though we have seen that if it's used correctly, it can be a driving force for change. It's a constant reminder to us that racism is still a thing in our country, and we're going to have to fight for the equality and justice that we deserve.